Back again with another one. Today we got the man, the legend, the myth, Gavire Venijodi. Let's take a few minutes and listen to what he has to say. Jordi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Jordy. I'm from Burundi, and I just wanted to share a bit about my time living in the Gambia as a student. I spent about a year there back in 2019, and honestly, it was one of the best years of my life. So first and foremost, let me just clarify right now, you heard that right. I said the Gambia. That is the official name of the country. It is one of the only two countries in the world that has the as part of its name. So officially, it's called the Gambia. I know, it's crazy. The other one is the Bahamas. Yeah. Secondly, most of the time when I talk about my experience there, the most recurring question is where is the Gambia located? So the Gambia is a small country in West Africa. It is right by the ocean, and it is surrounded completely by Senegal. it is a really super chill place, and the people there are so nice. The Smiling Coast, because of how nice the locals are. So anyway, I went there back in 2019 as a student. The visa process wasn't too complicated, because for most African countries at the very least, you either don't need a visa or you will get one when you arrive. So I got one on arrival. It was a 30 days visa. I had to pay around $7,000, which is like a hundred $112 maybe. Um, and depending on how long you're gonna remain there. So for example, in my situation as a student, I was gonna be there for 4 years, right? So I would have to get a student permit, right? And it's pretty straightforward to get. You just need valid passport, a passport picture, proof that you don't have any criminal record, proof that you're financially stable, and that's about it. And you will obviously have to pay a permit fee, which in my case was around $2,500 fees, which is like $40. But obviously, depending on why you're there, as a student, I had to get a student permit. Depending on why you're there, if you're there to work, you'll have to get a work permit. But I think the process is still pretty much the same. It's pretty straightforward and pretty easy. Uh, and yeah, so I stayed in Banjul, which is the capital. It's not really a huge city, but it's a fun place. There's a lot of beaches, obviously, markets, and it's a really laid back place. But depending on where you're from, you might have an issue with the weather. The weather is hot most of the time, like really hot, and there is a rainy season around mid-year maybe. But like, depending on where you're from, I'm from a very cold place, a very cold country. So I had to get used to it. There was a little bit of a curve, but I can get used to it. It's fine. It's okay. Finding a place to live in was pretty easy for me. Now, granted, I had a lot of help from the school, but for my friends, from the stories I heard and everything, finding an apartment was pretty easy and pretty straightforward. Rent isn't that expensive. It's way cheaper than most places. Um, you can get a very decent apartment for around $300. Um, it's not a sure thing now, but back then it was super doable. Um, the living cost there is not a lot either. The food is pretty cheap, especially if you buy from local markets. Transportation is also affordable. Mostly you share taxis or minibuses. The internet and electricity can be a little unpredictable sometimes, but you're not too wrong with it. One thing I loved was how easy it was to meet people. I think as a foreigner, you have you usually end up isolating yourself because you don't know how to integrate like a new society with just like entered in. But Gambia has a growing expat community of students, NGO folks, travelers, and you generally cannot feel alone. Um, I would, if it's your first time there, I would recommend going to the Senegambia Strip, which has a lot of restaurants, bars, and beach spots, or the Nefertiti Bar. You will most likely meet another foreigner who is as confused as you. And I find that, there is a relief in knowing that you're not the only one who's confused. You're not the only one who's scared. So yeah, you will most definitely not be alone. There is a huge community of expats, and with that comes, people that are willing to help you and teach you how to navigate the new society you find yourself in. So you'll definitely be able to make friends easily. Also, there is apps and groups like Internations where experts organize meetups and things like that. So it will be very easy for you to meet new people. Um, One thing that can be incredibly frustrating could be the language barrier. English is the official language in Gambia, but most people speak local languages like Mandinka, Wolof, or Fula in everyday life. So at first, it was hard for me to follow conversations or even ask for directions. Especially in crowded places like markets, trying to buy something was really hard. I had no idea what the vendor was saying, and it was really frustrating. But over time, you start picking up the phrases and you learn to read body language. But I found the people to be incredibly patient with me. They would slow down, try to switch to English if they could, or try to teach me words. The effort to connect on both sides made me feel very welcome. By the end of the year, I could throw a few sentences together in local languages. So that made me feel proud about myself. So yeah, even though the language barrier can be an issue, you can get past it very quickly if obviously you put in some effort. The people will be very receiving and very patient with you. So yeah, I think Gambia's greatest treasure isn't the restaurants or the beaches or any of that. It's the people. As I've already mentioned, the people are so nice. They're not just nice; they're amazing. They're so welcoming. As I've already mentioned, I went to the Gambia in 2019 in September to be exact. And as all of you know, by 2020, January 2020, COVID hit. And, we're all quarantined. I couldn't go home. I was stuck, and isolated and far from home. And I was scared. But my neighbors looked out for me. They would check in, bring me food, or ask if I wanted some, if they had extra. And it meant a lot, right? Gambians are super family oriented. You'll see like a whole family, parents, kids, grandparents, in-laws, all living together in one compound. It's really beautiful. And it goes to show that they have this great sense of community and care. And not just to the people they know, but to everybody else. Even if you're not from there, they'll look after you. They'll make you feel like you belong, and that's how my neighbors made me feel. I didn't know them really before, anyway. COVID started, but then they took care of me. They would make me feel like I'm part of them. They would invite me to their birthdays, graduations, marriages, everything. It was really beautiful to see how caring they were. They were, willing to invite a stranger that they didn't know into their family dynamics, into their lives. And I was very thankful for that. So yeah, I think that is honestly one of the greatest treasures Gambia has. The people they're just beautiful. Um, so yeah, if you're thinking about studying or living in the Gambia, I would say go for it. It's affordable, as mentioned, very friendly to tourists. And even if you don't want to study there or live there, I think it's a country that you should visit if you can, because it's a country with deep roots. Literally. I think a lot of Africans or people with African descent have watched Roots, the movie, and the character Kunta Kinte is Gambian. He was born in a village. I think it's called Jufure. It's right by the River Gambia. We can even visit Jufure and take the Roots tour to learn more about the transatlantic slave trade and the legacy of African heritage. So I think everybody that can should give it a try. And it's just the country is just good vibes, honestly. But yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you, Jordi. Thank you. And on the next episode of the Expat Files, we will be bringing you more on the Chinese trade. So stay tuned and see how, as a student, you can